Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back to another episode of South of the Cheddar Curtain. As always, it's your boy Devin Hine, sitting across from the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Lucas Mueller. You want to say hi to the folks, Luke?
Hello, folks.
First things first, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was good. I was actually the first part of the week up in the motherland, north of the Cheddar Curtain.
Oh,
Yeah.
very nice.
Right. Always nice to be up in Wisconsin. I have some land up there. Went deer hunting, unsuccessfully, but that's okay. You know, it's about having a good time.
It's
right?
like fishing, kind of, right?
Exactly. We treat it like fishing. Everyone else up there is like going to the grocery store type of deal, and we're up there to spend more time inside than outside. But hey, good time had by all. That's the important part. Came home, had a wonderful Thanksgiving with fantastic food with my family and Sally's family. We've kind of joined those two together. Great time had by all. How was yours?
It was really good. You know, it's nice that since I've switched jobs, I'm not working every other holiday, so I can...
I bet, man. I bet.
Yeah, big change there. I can actually be present with my family. It's weird. And I really took full advantage. I realized that I only watched a handful of snaps from the Bills game, and going in, that's what I was thinking I'd be doing like the entire Thanksgiving.
Right, and it was a good game, too. I mean, you didn't see much of it, apparently, but good game.
Yeah, watch the highlights after. It turned out to be a great game. But yeah, pretty good Thanksgiving, which I know that we both needed a little pick-me-up after our Packers back to our losing ways, falling 27-17 in the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, we sucked again.
Indeed, we did. All right, let's get to our first segment as always. I think and I know.
Let's start, man.
I know that despite the way the rest of the season goes, which does not look ideal at this point, that Christian Watson makes this much watch TV. 5 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Like Aaron said, you think that first one, I think it was a back shoulder that he caught, really just opened it up for him, right? Sometimes it's just one play that can change a guy's career, young or old. And this man, he's just, the size, the speed. Not only are we, getting the ball to him downfield, he's still getting those jet sweeps. Like, we loved watching Devontae, but we'd only utilize him in certain ways. Even like off bubble screens, he wasn't great,
No.
But Christian Watson, you can just get this guy the ball in so many ways. Not quite like the skill set of Deebo Samuel, but it's going to be that same sort of, you need to watch wherever he's going to be.
Yeah, I think he's definitely gotten to the point, and we've been talking about this every time he's been on the field, where he's just different than everybody else, and you can see that immediately when he gets on the field.
And that's so hard in the NFL. That's a very common thing in college, but
Correct.
In the NFL, everyone's a dude.
Everyone's a dude. Everyone was the dude in their town growing up. They were the dude in high school. They were the dude in college, right?
Yeah.
That's how you get there. So for you to look like potentially a dude in the NFL, man, what an incredible little stint he's got going on here in his career. And I think my favorite part is we're seeing it in different ways, right?
Exactly.
We already had the jet. We already had that. We had a couple deep balls, right? We had the great route running last week with his second touchdown. And his third one was just an easy one where he outran across the field. We saw that again on a crosser, right? His second touchdown this game. And his first one, he got to moss a dude, which is something we haven't been able to see him do yet. That was awesome. I love seeing that he can beat people in a bunch of different ways and use that athleticism to his advantage.
Totally. Not hoping that we're going to turn into like those Vikings teams, or do you just watch Randy Moss, or those
Right.
Lions teams, just Calvin Johnson. But it is going to make, no matter what happens the rest of the season, much more palatable having him on the field.
100%.
Knock on wood.
Does that make Romeo Chris Carter?
Ooh, that's a fun comparison.
I like that,
but
right?
Romeo, I think, is going to be the same way for us.
I think so. At least I think he could be. I mean, we don't want to say we have 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers here in their rookie year, but
No, but he's someone that I am excited to watch play, and hopefully we
100%.
get him back at least for maybe the last week or 2 of the season.
yeah, he's out this week. But
The fact
for
that
sure
it was even discussed is a good sign.
means that maybe a week or 2, hopefully,
We'll
right?
see.
We got the bye coming up soon, so we'll see what that looks like. All right, it's my turn, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how this works.
Oh boy. Okay. I know that we should have fired Joe Barry a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because, he came up with a good plan to stop the run, right?
Yeah, Derrick Henry was 3.2 yards per carry. He didn't beat us, at least not in the ground.
Absolutely not. With a long of 9. So they were all just bunch of short runs. Loved that.
I
Loved
did.
that. However, we made Traylon Burks and Ryan Tannehill look like superstars.
And played 10 yards off pretty much the entire game.
Correct. Like 3rd and 8, let's be 12 yards off, and they just do a quick little out to get a first down. Why? Why are we doing this?
Titans have one of the worst receiving cores in the NFL. Burks has
Correct.
not looked good at all this season.
No, but this was his coming out party against us.
You're welcome, Traylon Burks.
Unacceptable.
We didn't draft you, but, we still helped you out.
You cannot let a quarterback like Ryan Tannehill go 22 of 27. You're clearly not putting any pressure on him. You're not doing anything to confuse him. You're not making him throw into tight windows. That's probably the biggest thing. You're making it way too easy for them to just dink and dunk their way down the field.
And not only do you have, the lax coverage, but then you also have more communication, more miscommunications. Guys running wide open on one of the Titans' key third quarter drives to kind of take over the game. They had, I think it was like a backup tight end, like athletic looking guy, not a Dominic Daphne out there, but an actual athlete. And the only person that was on screen was Adrian Amos, who must have been like the single high safety. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, don't know how we got in that spot.
Commentator guessed it might have been Savage. Maybe he saw something, or maybe he just remembered it's Darnell Savage. That's probably a fair guess.
Either one could be accurate.
Just we call questionable plays, right? With this lackadaisical, and then the miscommunication. It's just
You can't.
frustrating.
You probably can't even live with one of those, but you sure as hell can't live with both.
No, it's a losing combination, and look what happened.
Because the only way that playing the ultimate bend don't break works, right, is if you are sound technically, and you just wait for the offense to make a mistake. Problem is, we're also making the mistake first.
Yeah, we beat you to it.
We're gonna bend, but then we're also gonna break because we're gonna forget to cover someone.
Yeah, at least Dom Capers, we would usually stop them. They'd gain 400 yards when we get a pick in the red zone or something.
Correct.
To your point, I agree. I mean, when we hired him, you look at his stats, and he's, he was the guy who was the defensive coordinator for the 0-16 Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Really sexy hire there. And of course, the reports come out this week or the past week that the other guy that we were interviewing is now Denver's defensive coordinator, and they are filthy on defense, despite the fact that they have Russell Wilson, who is trying to lose every game.
Correct.
Putting their defense in horrible spots. They're still going out there and balling. So while I don't think we'll fire him mid-season,
he can't come back next year. Just can't do it.
I couldn't agree more. I also think that there's no direct hire, from the inside. People would point to Jerry Gray, who's a defensive backs coach. You can't get them to communicate either.
Right.
So you should be gone as well, Jerry.
And I think something that got brought up a little bit, especially this week, again, kind of resurfaced, was that Joe Barry just kept all of the position coaches, or either he decided to or was not allowed to bring in his own, which is weird. That's weird.
Yeah, when you give them the keys, if you're going to be making dinner, you should be able to pick the recipes.
Exactly.
Or the ingredients, my bad.
All of them. You got to pick everything, right? It's all up to you. You're the one cooking.
You would think so, but, strapped a little bit. As I'm sure some people were at Thanksgiving, families with special needs, no gluten, no whatever. Happens.
Exactly. Somebody doesn't like onions or mushroom, whatever the case might be.
But yeah, that was a little odd. I agree.
Yeah, just this defense is too talented. Even now with the injuries we have, just not aggressive enough, nothing. And the only good play that came out defensively was because Rasul is just awesome.
I agree. And that was just a heartbreaker because I was feeling pretty numb at that point in the game.
Agreed.
We can get more into it later, but
and we will.
That Rasul pick just felt like vintage Rasul. Could we save our season? That kind of play that he makes could be the play to do it. And then, of course not, because the offense is like, defense does something. Nah, we're not going to do anything. So I think,
mm-hmm.
and again, despite how this season is probably going to go, that we really need to try to enjoy these last weeks that we have. We're going to have months and months without football. And I believe that I'm pretty uncertain of the future of over half of this roster. I would probably say there's 10 or 15 guys that are for sure coming back.
Yeah. Guys on rookie deals and stuff like that. Yeah.
Which is pretty shocking that that's how low my number is, right? I don't think in any years past we would be close to that. I mean, last year I was concerned with the salary cap and whatnot, and it was maybe 5 or 6 guys I was concerned about. This year, between the salary cap, potential ramifications from whatever Rodgers does, and a lot of our guys are on 1-year deals.
Or on deals where it gets very expensive in a hurry, Aaron Jones.
Or they're expiring. So, for those of you, as we do, who love Aaron Jones, Alan Lazard, or Big Bob, or Adrian Amos, a lot of these core guys enjoy seeing them in Packer uniforms.
Because there's a good chance that some of your favorite players won't be back next year. I don't know what I'm going to do if I lose Big Bob.
If I lose
and Dean
Razul,
Lowry,
I don't know.
I got no Illinois left.
Maybe we'll draft some Illinois, and we can get excited about that because that's our new future. We're trending that way, baby. With all these high draft picks we're going to have.
That's true. And just real quick, because I think I brought up Aaron Jones for a reason. That's because, in theory, right, he's under contract for a couple more years, I think, right? We gave him that new contract last year, what have you. The problem is his cap hit next year is $20 million.
And now he's fumbling all the time.
And you're not going to pay any running back $20 million.
You are not.
So either you restructure it or you cut him. Right? You got to do something because $20 million is not going to work.
And like you said, even if we would try to trade him, what team is going to trade for a $20 million running back? You might have to give up a draft pick.
Correct.
To get that salary
as good
off
as
your
he
books.
is, that's just too much money for a running back right now.
Yeah, we really, what is it? Paying Peter to something Paul. I feel like you know that expression.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, that's what we did for one last run, and
doesn't mean we can't again. I mean, the Saints did it for like damn near a decade.
Just at some point, you do have to lay in the bed that you make.
You have to pay the piper eventually.
Thank you. Appreciate you. You know me, the linguinist that I am.
Linguinist.
I do like pasta. That sounds more like I'm making some linguine. That sounds good. Maybe I'll do that for dinner tonight.
Yeah, definitely not quite close to the word you were looking for, bud.
Maybe I said it wrong on purpose. It's fine. You're up.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I think that we have a lot of talent, young talent on this offense, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. We just talked about Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, right? Maybe A.J. Dillon, potentially.
Hit or miss.
Think about that. We got some good young offensive line pieces.
Don't forget Samari Toure.
And Samari Toure. That's true.
Thank you.
He's got to play more.
I think he's my new Jeff Janis, pretty much.
I mean, he'll never be as good as Jeff Janis.
Coin flip.
In my mind. Back-to-back Hail Marys. But anyways, we're getting off track here. I'm excited about our defense a little bit. The young pieces we have on defense.
Quay Walker,
and JJ. While JJ and Igbari did not have a breakout game, right? I mean, he didn't have 2 sacks or something, right? I thought he played decently well.
He's flashing as a late round pick. You can't really be asking for more than that.
Exactly. He looks like he belongs on the football field.
100%.
And that there's a good chance we move on from Preston, kind of to your point. We've been talking about moving on from Preston since the year he got here, basically. I think he could at least be outside backer 2, maybe 3. I mean, maybe with that high draft pick, we take a young stud type of thing, kind of like we did with Gerry. But I feel good about him. I feel good about Quay. Quay's been playing better and better every game, almost, it feels like, recently.
He's the one guy you don't have to worry about his effort ever.
Ever. That dude will run, and he will chase you down. And he's making more impact plays, which we were missing at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have to let Devondre go, Quay's not Devondre, not yet, but he's showing more promise than he did 8 weeks ago. Obviously we have Stokes, all that good stuff.
All that good stuff?
All that good stuff. Hey,
all that questionable
I
stuff.
still have faith in him as a corner 3 next year. Because we're not getting rid of Rasul or Jair. So I feel good about that trio. Okay? Is that fair?
I hope so. I really hope we keep the trio. I mean, Rasul is someone that I leaning towards would stay, but we just don't know.
I think he would. But anyways, I feel good. I think I feel good about the young defensive talent we have.
And I would tend to agree with that.
Given that we're going to have to lose some. Amos, good chance gone. Preston, good chance gone.
Amos is also having his worst year as a Packers, so that
Yeah.
hurts a little bit less. I think that we just remember good Amos, and we're not really identifying.
This year has not
and
been it.
Speaking on bad Amos.
The last couple years were great. This year is bad.
I mean, he's also north of 30 now, I believe.
Maybe this is the beginning of the end.
Probably.
Maybe.
He'll probably go somewhere else and be a rotational guy, but yeah, he's not the stud that he was when we picked him up.
No, agreed. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I feel like we don't have, going into next year, even if we subtract the people I think won't be here, we don't have giant gaping holes like we have in the past. We have a couple positions kind of ironed out to a certain extent. I feel good about that.
We'll see how it all turns out, but we definitely do have some nice pieces. It would be nice to see Devontae Wyatt step up a little more. He's really the only guy of that draft class. I mean, Sean Ryan just got suspended for, I think, using some PEDs. But besides that, I mean, he's the only other person that hasn't shown a whole lot. But in little stints, I've liked what I've seen. And again, we have 6 weeks left.
Maybe he shows a little something.
This is basically tryouts. Let's see what you got.
Agreed. And it can take D linemen a long time to kind of get up to speed a little bit, even with the best of them. So if they're not pass rushers normally flash pretty early.
Defensive tackle is a difficult position to acclimate to.
And I know he's an old rookie, but I'm expecting much bigger things from him next year.
And with our projected roster moves, he's probably going to have to.
Right. Jerron Reed's not coming back.
Jerron Reed's a 1-year free agent. Dean Lowry,
I don't think he's coming
I
back.
don't think he's coming back. Yeah, a lot of Packer people want him gone.
So that leaves you with the young guys, right? TJ Slayton,
hit or miss, yeah. So
Kenny Clark, and then Devontae Wyatt, basically.
Devontae Wyatt definitely will need to take a step forward in the future.
But I feel like we got something to work with.
Yeah, we do. I mean, like you said, it's just nice to see some of the young guys as down as we've been at points in the season, just to still have that, like, you know what? Okay, we're probably not making the playoffs. This could be the end of the Rodgers era, but like we have guys that are fun to watch and are going to be reliable and, will continue to grow.
Correct. They belong on a football field right now. They're only going to get better from here.
Agreed. All right, to this game. We'll do a little game flow. So Titans start off with a 8-play, 83-yard drive. Tannehill was able to find Dontre Hilliard, who's kind of like their scat back, more of a receiving guy on a 14-yard pass in the corner. Looked like Isaiah McDuffie was supposed to be the guy, but they kind of fooled him with a high-low concept where there were two guys running his way, and Isaiah, picked one, and they threw it to the other one.
Happens.
And he's also our fourth best inside linebacker. So what are you going to do? Packers do respond nicely. We drive down the field, 11 plays, 78 yards. Christian Watson gets a 14-yard touchdown from Aaron. Unfortunately, though, the Silver Fox had no chance to make the extra point. They bum rushed that right through the middle.
Yeah, we had another snap problem, right?
So special teams. I mean, I should have checked the ranking, but are we 29th?
We're 29th, actually. Good
call. Wow.
We're 29th.
Okay. So that should be an improvement, but it doesn't really feel like it. The fact that Amari's gone helps a little bit, but
yeah.
Rick Bisaccia, you are the highest paid special teams coordinator. You have 40 guys from your old teams on our roster now. What else more do you need?
Yeah, but part of the problem is, they all proved to be better than who they were backing up, so they're actually playing on defense now.
Maybe
part of the
they're
problem.
Tired. I don't know.
Except Levitt. He's still.
Keyshawn Nixon isn't snapping. Maybe he should be. He wouldn't let me down.
How hard is it to find a long snapper? You watch college football games every Saturday. How often do they have bad snaps? It feels like never.
I don't know. And Jack Coco, thinking of Mean Girls, You Go, Glenn Coco. I was
we
so
were
excited just for the
for
name puns. Man, that's what I'm all about. And I can't even really do that here.
No, because he's bad.
Yeah, he's not good.
Yeah.
So after that, second quarter, Titans do score. Derrick Henry runs it in, 4 yards. And then, so we're down, 14-7, 14-6. Game still pretty within reach. Get the ball, respond with a field goal. And then Titans come right back. Again, not playing complimentary football. Defense was doing an okay job. After the offense had scored, right?
Right.
They needed to step up. They were doing okay early in the quarter. And then the Titans just went right down the field. I think it was that drive where we had the big busted coverage where Adrian Amos was the only guy in the vicinity.
Was that the Okonkwo guy, their backup tight end?
Mm-hmm. Supposedly it was Savage's guy. At least that's what the commentators said. I'd also probably guess Savage based on his history. But yeah, so the Titans, and then they have a really fun play call where they fake
Yeah.
like they're giving it to Derrick Henry up the middle, and he just drops back and throws a little over the top to Austin Hooper, which, I mean, you can't blame the defense for. It's Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that was a great play call. The defense is going to sell out to stop him.
And we did stop him for the most part. You know, you keep running the ball, you set up things like play action, and then you also set up a halfback pass. Worked.
It happens. I was, as soon as I saw that play develop, I'm like, well, touchdown, and there's nothing we were going to do about it.
No, sir. We do respond nicely. We do get a touchdown drive. Another one of Christian Watson. That man, I don't know if you've heard, he's pretty good. Gets an 8-yard pass from Rodgers. And we did get the 2-point on little touch pass to
Love
Aaron
that.
Jones. It
That
was
was
your old touch pass.
That was the play I've been waiting for.
The little lead with
Yep.
Dylan or whoever it was. Might
I
have
was
been
like,
Josiah.
man,
I'm not sure.
I think it might have been Josiah, but I was like, man, here it is.
Well, if it worked, it was Josiah, because that man is lead blocker. He is a dude.
He's definitely proving his worth a little bit more, not in the ways we hoped for when he got drafted. However, they really like that play where they kind of motion him, either where he motions into the lead block, or they've also done a fair amount where he motions from like the left side to the right side and then runs across the field to kick out like that edge rusher. And they both work. So he's kind of finding this nice little niche there. I don't think he's ever going to be like he's your starting fullback. We're not going to have an offense like that, or he's your starting tight end type of deal, but he's going to play important snaps.
And we use him like he is. He doesn't necessarily line up in the I formation, but we're using him like use check, like you said. Kind of him, you pull him for the lead block, or then you go play action, and then he's the little scat out, and he's always open for 6 or 7.
I want to see a little bit more creativity with the pass game with him.
It would be nice. I mean, the guy's got wheels. He's shown a more consistent approach in his hands.
Yeah, he's looked better this year.
So he's someone who deserves snaps. He's someone that I'm not worried about being on the team next year.
Yeah, no, I feel good about him.
Here's where the game just really broke my heart. Titans go down, mainly off of a screen play. They threw a screen to Derrick Henry, and Preston had a shot at him and just couldn't get him. And after that, it's just like,
There was nobody home.
get out of the way. Derrick Henry takes a screen for, I think it was like 50 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're able to hit Austin Hooper for a 16-yard touchdown. And at this point, the game is 27-17 with 14:55 to go in the fourth quarter.
You're like, okay, that sucks.
It does.
We can do it, though, right? We did it last week.
If I told you that the defense got the ball back for the offense 4 times without giving up any points, what would you say?
Like, man, we got a good shot at this.
Yeah.
We definitely probably at least brought it to a field goal game, right?
3 punts and a very timely interception from Azulgad. Nothing. No points. Because one hand is supposed to wash the other, and we just can't do that this year.
No. The defense kind of gave up some easy stuff in the early mid part of the game, right?
But they locked down.
And then they locked down. But like you said, we not playing complementary football. The offense was rolling. The defense wasn't stopping anybody.
And then we flipped in the fourth quarter.
Correct. Yep. 100%.
And on that defensive, part of those key defensive stops, you had the Razul interception.
Which was fantastic.
You had Isaiah McStuffy legally clocking Ryan Tannehill. I think he was
Loved
the
it.
only player in that position who could have made that play. Tannehill's a big dude. He had a good, set
Had
of steam
steam,
behind
yep.
him. Yeah. And then Barnes just stuffs him right before lineup.
It was amazing.
First down.
It was amazing. Great play. Absolutely great hustle play there.
I can't remember the other stops. This game was not very
Not very memorable
in the good ways.
Well, we had that. We have the Rasul. There's just some other stuff where they kind of petered out because their run game did nothing.
And there was a Preston sack where he just power rushed the guy and sacked him through the left tackle.
Yep.
Again, key
Correct.
guys stepping up in key moments, and the offense just couldn't get it done. I mean, it was a wide variety. If you follow anything Packers media on Instagram, I'm sure you saw like the Spider-Man meme with like what we see and what Aaron Rodgers sees.
Mm-hmm.
There was one third down where you had 2 guys both going across the middle, I think underneath routes, but wide open, and probably could have gotten the first down. I think it was Alan Lazard and Josiah DeGuara. And then you see, the ball go towards Sammy Watkins across the middle, and Aaron just misses flat out.
Which I want to get into that in just a minute, right? Because I think that this game, I don't think we necessarily need to do what else we saw from offense, what else we saw from defense. We're covering most of it right now.
We're
right?
covering it, and there's not a whole lot.
Yeah, there wasn't anything else we need to go over. But so we had Aaron miss a couple balls, right? Several.
Even
And they were bad.
And like some of like the little easy dump off plays to Aaron Jones.
Yep.
Not in the right spots. So he has to adjust. Momentum is stopped. And yeah, this was a game where he missed several.
So let's talk about that. All right, there's a couple things I want to touch on. We got to this one first. So it came out this week, right, that he officially has a broken thumb.
Well, he told a kid reporter that he has a broken thumb. And then on the McAfee show or somewhere else, he said he didn't. It wasn't broken.
I think it's broken. I've thought it's broken probably this whole time.
The more misses I see, I also think it's broken.
And also, why would it still be taped up at this point? You know,
fashion. I don't know.
It should at least be like team colors at that point or something, right? not the like Band-Aid tan. Clearly, the thumb is bothering him, right? And he came out after and said, like, "Oh, it shouldn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. Whatever."
But it obviously is. Or Father Time has caught the fuck up really quick.
Well, I think part of it is this was really the first cold game we've had, right?
Aaron shriveling up in the cold. We've never seen that before.
He plays really well in the cold outside of whatever playoff exit is.
He used to.
Hey man, when the turtleneck comes out, the lights are on.
Didn't we lose?
He played great.
Didn't we lose to the Niners?
Historically, Devin.
Triggered.
But I think that obviously things hurt worse in the cold, right? Things hurt worse in the cold. Having a large hand with a strong grip is more important in the cold. I think what we saw was largely the thumb affecting him more than he expected because of the cold. That ball's a lot harder when you're holding it, right? Not as much give to it. You need a firmer grip on it. I think that was a big part of what we saw miss-wise.
I sure hope so, because it's either that or it's Father Time. And yeah, he did not look like himself in a lot of those throws. And it really did hurt the offense. Now, there were a couple plays. I believe that the sack that was taken by Jeffrey Simmons, where receivers down the field just didn't really turn around and help him out, which was less than ideal. But for the most part, this was on Aaron missing guys. I guess there were a couple other plays. One of the fourth downs where Lazard just like stopped running.
That happened a couple times.
I don't know what's going on
Lazard,
with him.
And he just, the game-ending play where he just like stops, like, bro,
you don't really
the game's
see
on
that
the line.
out of him.
Just keep going. It doesn't matter if you catch or not. You got to at least try.
He had a drop earlier in that game. Just weird game from him.
Weird stuff. And overall, he's still 5 for 57. Like he looked
He
all
had
right.
some good catches. I remember Aaron went right back to him after one of the drops, and he caught like a nice 12-yard out route to keep a drive going.
But just some weird stuff there. It was nice to see Randall back.
Yeah, he still did Cobb things, of course.
Love him. I'd be fine if he comes back. I didn't think he would, but at this point, he has more juice than I expected.
Yeah, it's really not a bad trio when you think about it with Watson, Lazard, and Cobb. That's some nice pieces. Now, it would be great to get Romeo Doubs to replace Sammy Watkins, who went back to, usual
Useless.
Sammy Watkins.
Oh my God, is that man useless? So obviously Rodgers missed him on that dig route, right? The deep end.
Yep.
That dude is wearing cement cleats or something. Good God, is he slow out of breaks?
The fact that he's getting snaps over anybody in our receiver room is baffling.
Did you see that they like the updated depth chart? He's second from the bottom now.
Yeah, behind Samari Toure, which is
he's
still
in front of Samari Toure, which is
that's what I
blasphemy.
meant. Yeah, it's bullshit. Are you kidding me? Samari gets open every time. He doesn't drop the ball. He's a good dude. What are we doing?
I don't get it.
And also, like, there is no way Sammy Watkins is back on the roster, and Samari Toure is a young piece.
Let's try to get that chemistry. Let's give him the reps, right?
There's no downside. He hasn't shown any signs of like the typical, rookie cliche.
He doesn't
like the
look
lights
like-
are too bright or nothing.
He doesn't look like Amari Rodgers out there. He looks like he can actually play football.
Yeah, he's useful.
And Sammy Watkins is useless.
Just more, questionable decisions by Packers management. Unfortunately, they're not calling us enough as they should be.
Or listening, apparently. Come on, Mark
or
Murphy
just
and
looking
Goody.
and seeing any Packers media anywhere.
Or just looking at the field and be like, hey, this guy can't run. Why are we having him play wide receiver?
I don't know. Maybe he's thinking like his lizard powers help somehow, get some good juju.
I get having him on the team. Maybe he's good to have in the locker room, can help teach up the young guys, whatever, right?
That mentor role. Oh, wait, we have Randall Cobb, who actually catches the ball and still does things. So, Sammy, I was so excited when we signed you for the idea of it, but it's just not panning out. And then watch, he's going to go have like 3 touchdowns in Philadelphia and shut me up.
There's a good chance. There's a good
Very
chance.
good chance.
Man, frustrating game. Very, very frustrating game.
A lot of just beating ourselves, and it felt like, maybe not so much in penalties or turnovers, but the miscommunications on defense and then Aaron missing people. We're hoping it's just the thumb, but at the same time, if it is the thumb and that thing's broken, it's not getting better soon. It's not getting better by the end of the season. And I don't know if we've noticed outside, guys, it's getting cold. It's just going to get colder.
Yeah.
So
what are we doing here, right?
Yeah, things are not looking great. But good news. We have a really easy game this week. we only go to one of the best teams in the NFC, where we travel to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. I was done covering this game. I don't think there's anything else I really have to say.
No, I'm good. Let's move on.
And with the Eagles game, there's not going to be a whole lot. I believe they're now 8-2, 9-2.
I think they're at 9 wins.
I forget how many games there are in the season.
17, but the problem is we haven't had a bye yet, and literally every other team has. So it makes it a little confusing looking at this stuff.
They have looked a little more
9-1.
Oh, it's 1. That's right, because they almost lost to the Colts, but
Correct.
didn't. So they're looking a little mortal, at least. Cousin, Mr. Heineke, went into Philadelphia with the rest of his Commanders teammates, and they definitely did take command. They were able to beat the Eagles. And then last week, the Jeff Saturday-led Colts put up a pretty good fight, and it took a Jalen Hurts last-minute touchdown drive to propel the Eagles to a victory. So they are looking mortal, but at the same time, they have a top 5 rushing and passing offense.
And they've been adding a ton of pieces to their only weakness on defense, which was their D-line up the middle.
Yeah, their run defense. They added some familiar faces the Packer fans should know. Good, Ndamukong Suh.
And hate.
Never had any issues with him in the past before.
Hate him.
And if he gets 3 sacks this season, they will all be against Aaron Rodgers.
He's going to step on somebody.
Tomorrow night. Guaranteed.
He's going to stomp on somebody.
Want to take bets? I'll say John Runyon Jr.
Yeah, no, that feels like probably the guy, doesn't it? That feels like the guy, because it's never like the guy.
It's
right?
never the best lineman we have.
Right. It's always
It was Evan Dietrich Smith, who I think was a sub-in.
Correct.
If Sean Ryan was playing this week, it would be him for sure. Or like if what's-his-face has to come in.
Oh, maybe we just sacrifice Royce Newman.
Just like easy bait, please. Maybe he can we switch his number to whatever Evan Dietrich Smith's number was and just
That'd be great. Like
throw him out there as bait?
62 or whatever it was. Yeah. Just throw him out there. Just be like, hey, Royce, go piss Ndamukong Suh off real quick, get stomped on, and then we'll bring you back. But
the issue was I think that Ndamukong Suh was frustrated because Evan Dietrich Smith was blocking him well. Royce Newman wasn't frustrated, so he wouldn't have the situation.
No. Good point. Good point. All right, maybe it'll be a classic. Maybe we can get a classic Jenkins game, and it'll be Jenkins. He loved destroying Aaron Donald. Maybe he'll do the same to Ndamukong Suh.
It'd be nice.
Be nice to see. Have a little bounce back.
But yeah, going into this game, we're not looking great. I mean, the Eagles,
No.
They're the class of the NFC. A lot of things that they do, we don't do well.
There's a couple things I want to highlight, right? Obviously, the obvious one is the rushing attack and how varied it is and all the different people involved, right? That's going to be a problem.
Especially with our edge rushers.
And we hate running quarterbacks.
Yes, we
historically.
do.
So that's a problem. I think the thing that I'm more worried about, right, is the fact that we're going to play 12 yards off A.J. Brown.
And Devontae Smith. And Quez Watkins.
I mostly care about A.J. Brown because
you love A.J. Brown.
I love A.J. Brown. But mostly because he's the guy that we're going to play 12 yards off, and he's going to catch like a 6-yard slant, break a tackle, and just be gone, right? Like, he's a physical guy. You can't just let him catch the ball when he wants to.
Nope.
And get ahead of steam because we got problems at that point, right? They call all their wide receiving corps just a bunch of Batmans. There's like Fast Batman and Skinny Batman, and then there's Swole Batman.
He's Swole Batman.
He's Swole Batman.
He most certainly is. He lives up to that name for sure.
I love A.J. Brown, and the way we are currently playing is the exact opposite of what you want to do to him.
Yeah, I agree. From the passing defense point of it, it's going to be rough because we're playing off and we're not communicating, which is a really good, like we said, really good tandem for success in this league.
Correct.
You know, little bright side is that Dallas Goedert's banged up, so he may not play, but they still have a plethora of weapons.
Yep.
I could see that maybe, we start to do okay covering A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and then Quez Watkins, who's
Just toast us over the top.
Yeah, he's a complete burner. He's pretty much a one-trick pony, but when you have an offense that has that many weapons that can do that much, you can afford to have a one-trick pony like that.
He's like faster MVS, right? Because I believe
don't like your
I believe
comparisons.
he was timed in the 4.2s and MVS was in the 4.3s.
All right, next topic. Their running game with their read option, Jalen Hurts, I think, is going to probably make us look stupid at least a few times.
Yep, 100%.
Enagbari has showed a lot of flashes, but he's also been fooled a few times in sealing the edge.
Yeah. The only thing I will say is Gerry wasn't great at it either.
No, because he
was
would always
overly
bite.
aggressive.
Yeah, he was always a guy that bite inside.
So we really need to stay home. I expect they won't run a ton of that towards Preston, but I've been wrong because people love doing it at Preston. I don't understand because he's fantastic at setting the edge. He knows his responsibilities.
Wouldn't do it.
But teams do it every week.
Campbell is questionable for this week? Or
Yeah.
is he doubtful?
He's doubtful.
That hurts.
That's not going to be good.
Well, the nice thing is that Chris Barnes is one more week away from his injury.
Yeah.
I think
and he
that
looked good.
he did. I think a lot of like the subbing in him and McDuffie in and out was just, Barnes' first game back. As much as I love Isaiah McDuffie,
Barnes is better.
yeah, Barnes is better. There's a reason you're a fifth round or the fifth linebacker on our team. Like, I love you, man, but
He's great in that role, but if we got to send two guys out to start, it's got to be Quay and Barnes.
especially with this running attack, they got a good offensive line.
They got Jason Kelsey, who I love.
He's a classic. He's an old NFL vet.
Yep.
And for all the weapons they have on offense, they have just as many on defense. They probably have the best corner tandem in the NFL with Big Play Slay, who, when they signed him, you thought it was, a bit of an overprice, right?
Because he was kind of washed at that point. You kind of thought maybe coming from Detroit.
He's looking good. They also got James Bradbury on the other side.
Who looks great.
And then they added C.J. Gardner Johnson, who was talking all sorts of shit to the Packers when we played him in training camp.
All sorts. And I think he's a safety now, right?
I
think that's how they're lining him up.
But I feel like they can really just let him go.
Oh, 100%. He just flies around, uses those cornerback skills to his advantage. And Slay talked about this week that he's missing a member of his Mount Rushmore of interception.
Oh, yes, he is.
He's never picked Aaron Rodgers off. It's pretty much like the last guy he's got to get. So, especially given how often they played each other when he was in Detroit, pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But Aaron's throwing a lot of picks this year, at least for him. Not for mortals, but for him.
Yeah, he's been giving out plenty of Christmas gifts.
Please don't throw him a pick. Please don't throw him a pick.
Let's just hope they don't put Slay on Watson.
The only thing we have there is if Watson can kind of get him off of him, right? I mean, Slay's up there in age now, and he was never the absolute speediest guy.
True.
He should be able to beat him over the top, but it's can he get there, essentially.
And will we have enough time? Because the Eagles still have a very good pass rush.
Right, they got Brandon Graham, and they got Robert Quinn.
Oh, that's right. They did that trade. Oh, wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah, so things don't look great going into this game.
To be fair, they didn't against Cowboys either.
Yeah, so maybe we're just going to win if we're just going to be negative. If that's the trend, this is going to be a very dark show for the rest of its existence, or we just...
But we're doing it for the people, right? We're doing it for the people.
We are doing it for the people.
We're going to be grumpy so you guys can be happy when we win.
We'll be playing next year like an 0-15 team. Guys, there's no way we get the win. We're going to get fucking spanked. There's no way. We don't stand a chance in hell. But really, I mean, even if good Packers shows up, this will be an incredibly tough game.
100%. They're a good team. Like you said, they do feel mortal at this point. But we're also going to Philly, someplace historically we are terrible at.
Although, as everyone wants to point out, you're going to see it all over Packer media.
Yep, here it goes.
The last time we did run the table, it started in Philly. Yeah, you see these comparisons.
In a primetime game.
These comparisons drive me crazy. Because it's a much different team. You had Carson Wentz, and they had like no receivers at that point.
Mm-hmm.
They were like 6-4, 5-4.
They were good, but not great.
They were an 8-1 in the class in the NFC, and thinking of trying to stop them on defense is a nightmare, and thinking about trying to attack them on offense is not a pleasant thought either. So I would just recommend that, we all spend time with our families, spend time with the people you care about.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the gym, read a nice book, do whatever you do for your self-love, maybe pour a stiff drink for the game, and just buckle in and don't have a lot of high expectations.
The last part there, that's my plan.
Stiff drink?
Yeah, I'm not going to be reading a lot of books going into it, but the stiff drink's going to be needed. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, my man. Well, as always, it's a pleasure to do the show, and no matter where this season goes and where this team goes, I'm so thankful that we have this platform.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love doing this show with you, bud. Love talking about one thing that we're incredibly passionate about. Love getting to share that with the people.
Amen. Even if it's our 40 listeners, but our friends in Europe who still have yet to email, which please do. Please do. We
Please
really
do.
want to hear from you guys.
South of the cheddar curtain at gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram.
As long as Luke remembers to check his email. So maybe Instagram's the better route.
Hey, I've been getting better.
Slightly. Alrighty, guys. Until next time.
Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.